So you need to address those ones. Otherwise, I think more people can potentially get drawn into those more extreme ideologies or political parties or whatever the case may be, because the people in the middle, right, the sort of normal conservatives or normal liberals or normal libertarians or whatever, are just totally unwilling to even discuss certain things. I think that's one of the big problems that I see with what people call political correctness, right? I mean, here's a great example. In the UK, you must have heard of this grooming gang situation,
Oh my
right?
gosh,
That was
Rotterdam. Yeah.
going on for a long time. Okay, not wanting to be addressed by the police or the authorities, etc. They were afraid of creating racial tensions. They didn't want to be called racist. They didn't want to be called Islamophobic. So thousands and thousands of girls are getting groomed and sexually assaulted and molested and raped because they don't want to address this issue. Who were the people who were banging on about this issue for a long time? It was people who in the UK were considered far right. It was the British National Party. It was guys like Tommy Robinson, if I can say his name. I've probably just been demonetized now. It was,
And
people
let me
who
interrupt you for people who don't realize the BNP aren't like the Republicans.
no,
They are the people to the right where even Farage is like, I'm not talking to you guys. So
yes,
let's be
yes,
clear. This is when you say far right, you're not using that term loosely
yes. No,
regarding to
I
the
used it
BNP.
properly. Yeah,
Yeah.
using the term properly. But they were talking about that, right? They were talking about that, but because they were talking about it, no one else for a long period of time, it was like, oh, we can't even touch this issue. And it's like, yeah, well, lots of their other stuff was very unsavory and despicable, but that was a valid that was a valid concern, right?
Yeah.
There are valid questions and concerns that people may have about immigration that are not rooted in hatred of people from other countries or hatred of people's skin color or whatever. But I think we all, on a fundamental level, understand that you don't want to just tomorrow say, you know what, anyone from anywhere in the world can come into the UK. As long as you can make it to the shore, you're welcome, right? Some people are super naive and think that's some kind of good idea, but I think most people, right, even a progressive, even a liberal would be like, no, okay, there's got to be some limitation. There have to be some rules. You can't just have the population double tomorrow, and how are we going to feed everybody? Where are they going to live? What's going to go on? What about
We'll
crime,
figure it
etc.?
out. We'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
We'll figure it out.
So
We're,
yeah,
we're
so
Britain,
yeah, so
right?
coming back to what I was saying, I mean that's what yeah, it's one of those weird ones because it's kind of uncomfortable for people because once people go past a certain line, you don't want to associate with them. Most people won't even want to talk to them or even listen at all. And at least, even if you think they're wrong, even just listen to what they're sort of saying. And so, like I said, what I really liked about your book, The New Right, was that you crossed that boundary and didn't just sort of write people off and keep it perfectly within this safe zone.
Yeah. So, like, let's talk about that BNP example you used, because that's a good one.
Mm.
Because people will say, and I think truthfully and accurately, that their concerns about these girls are for the wrong reasons. Like, it's not that they really care about these girls per se, that they're more concerned about, blah, blah, blah,
Hmm.
keeping Britain white and all this
Hmm.
other stuff. And there's an inverse of that. So if I'm talking about this issue for the wrong reasons, people don't need to address it. I mean, that's a demented mentality. People probably wouldn't express it explicitly, but
Right.
that is what it looks like happened. But there's the inverse of that, which is if I'm talking about this issue for the right reasons, then I'm not really responsible for the consequences of my policies or my views, because at
Mm.
least I have the right goal at heart. And I'm like, I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't necessarily know that your vision is good. I don't think good, if it doesn't correlate to reality, is good. I
Hmm.
think it's just delusion. And you do have to have accountability for what this would look like, because history is full. I hate the cliche, the road to hell is full of good intentions. I don't think their intentions are often good.
Yeah.
I think their intentions are also, like you're saying, that's in a democracy, it lets that person feel powerful because now I'm the one helping people. I'm kind of that messiah figure. So
Mm.
a lot of that is has a malevolent subtext as well, like using other people's as a means to your own salvation and not being genuinely concerned with their health or well-being so much as that I got to be one of the good people who helps, not like those bad people who don't care. You see this a lot with, you know, what they call slacktivism on Facebook and Twitter, where if I just change my profile picture to the right thing, all of a sudden I care about the people with France. And one of the things I talk about in my work, and I've done a lot of research about the Harlem Renaissance and you know, fringe figures in the past. It's like, where were you when these figures needed where were you for gay rights before Stonewall?
Yes.
Like, now you're for gay rights when Times Square is all rainbows.
It's easy now.
It's easy now.
Yeah.
Where were you when these people were getting fired and were regarded as basically like sexual predators and complete deviants? You were in your nice little bougie house reading the New York Times, which proudly reported the people who were fired at these raids. And it's all these people on Twitter think that they would have fought for the North during the Civil War. And it's like, you're saying this in 2020. I do not believe you that you would have been signing up in 1861 to fight for this, when even the Northerners didn't think they were fighting for slavery so much, preserving the Union. So there's so much a question about perception, how people want to view themselves in terms of time travel, that it's kind of ridiculous to observe.
Yeah, definitely. I always say the majority of people would have acted as the majority of people. Right?
Yeah,
so
look at Germany. Like, do you think like Hitler comes? He didn't have a magic wand.
No.
Like, everyone follows the leader, they follow the country, and then now Germany's normal. I mean, the majority. That's a great way of putting it, Zuby. That's exactly right.
I do not scam. Put some respect on my